in Athens, Georgia right now, just came across this. A relic of a past time. That's a payphone right there with no receiver. Rusting out. You listen to some old country songs, you'll hear some that say something like, here's a quarter, call someone who cares. That's a payphone reference. Now I'm talking to a phone right now, that's what you're seeing me on. Times change. I decided to get some steak tacos here at Taco Mama's. Fuel up before setting up today. 2 hours early and I'm set up, but that's not the cool thing. Right here, the face painters next to me have got a mushroom wizard guarding their booth. This is one of your original characters? Now this crack that goes down your face mask, is that where the mask broke and you glued it together, or is that designed that way?
No, funny thing is, you're the only one who's been able to guess that. Everyone else was like, oh, that's so cool how you did that. I'm like, that was awesome.
It does look like it was on purpose. Like a Kylo Ren kind of thing.
I put the mask before I added any other details. I put it on a white blanket, so I grabbed my paint container, forgot it was there, and threw it on my face. It was a mushroom spirit. A mushroom spirit.
Bracelets, and also the staff. Is this a staff or a sword?
It is a cane.
It's a cane, okay.
Because I'm
it's like a wizard's cane?
Yep.
Okay, where you can actually...
If I want to, I can hold it by this, because I've added a handle here.
Uh-huh. And you made all this yourself?
Yep.
What did you use to make it?
Paper mache.
Paper mache?
Yeah. So the hat...
That is really sturdy for paper mache.
Yeah, if you add a lot of different layers of it, it can get really sturdy. Like
so you've laminated it really well then?
It's actually just stacked up. So basically what I did was, I added the first layer of cardboard, just going across it, then I added paper lines going around it, and I just kept adding onto it, and I used Mod Podge.
Mod
I use
Podge.
regular glue, but I use Mod Podge because I think it sticks better.
It does. Now we're gonna climb the stairs up to the uber coolness that is Bizarro Wax Tree Comics and Toys. Yeah, I could easily spend a few hours in here. So I ended up getting, first off, Dusty Dabbert, The Secret Animal Kingdom, original copyright date 1977, and then reprinted in this hardback book in 2014. But it is just gorgeous to look at. Look at those illustrations. It's very similar to those European-style Obelisk and Asterix stories, but this one's in English. So hopefully it'll be just as fun to read as it is to look at. And then I got an issue of Mad Magazine from April of 1982. So I was 1 year old when this came off the presses. And apparently it was the height of the popularity of Space Invaders in the arcades and on the Atari 2600. Or the Atari VCS as it was known back then. Only $3 for that. I'm happy with that. And then I got Lost at Sea, the 10-year anniversary edition by Brian Lee O'Malley. If you don't recognize his name, that was the artist and creator that came up with Scott Pilgrim. Created Scott Pilgrim. And so this was his comic, his breakout comic before Scott Pilgrim. So he did this, and then Scott Pilgrim, and then a book called Seconds. I don't think he's done anything since then. So this is the only Brian Lee O'Malley story I have not read, other than Snot Girl, which he only wrote, he didn't draw, and I'm not really interested in getting that. It's definitely got that distinct Brian Lee O'Malley art style to it. The back of it doesn't say anything really about the story, doesn't give a synopsis or anything, just says that it has a few extra short stories in it that were not included in the first edition, and that it's the perfect collection for anyone who's ever been young. Well, I've been young before, so I guess it's the perfect collection for me. It is Sunday morning now. I just opened my booth and look at this. 6 empty cans of water where I was sitting here in the heat wave all yesterday. Oh, and some boba tea and burned out markers. This is like when a drunk wakes up the next morning with a hangover and has got all the clattering beer cans around him. Except for me, it was a night of dehydration and money making. There's my sunglasses. They just fell on the ground. One lens popped out. I was so tired, I just walked off, didn't realize I left them there. Ooh, that was a good day. So after 8 now, we got a beautiful sunset in the background. We're halfway through breakdown. It was a hot one. It's 10:30 at night. I am worn out, but the only place left open to get myself something to eat is Waffle House. But there you go. Job well done. It's Monday morning, and here we are, back in the camper, back in the old camper. It's made me a little nostalgic about the days when I used to make these vlogs all the time, and I would do stuff like this, just talking directly to the camera. I actually thought people wanted to see something like that. Those were the old days. But my new camper is fine, but my new tow vehicle, something went wrong with the steering in the front end, and it was causing a lot of floatiness and sway. And anytime an 18-wheeler would pass me, or I would hit an uneven spot in the road, and that little veer that you get, it would push me way over, and then I would try to counter it, and it was whipping way back, and it was so floaty and hard to control. I couldn't get above 55. It was scary. I mean, dry-mouthed and wide-eyed, I made it back to Tennessee. At one point, I actually stopped and tried rearranging the load in the camper. I thought maybe that was doing it, but that didn't help. But once there, I figured out what it was. It's the gearbox and the pitman arm. And so I did not want to drive down to Athfest while that was still going on. So I switched back to the backup, put a few things in here. The essentials. Remember this? This old AC? The 2-pipe portable AC that I got from the Habitat for Humanity when I was in Indiana back in 2022. Still works great. And the old mini fridge or microwave setup, my little flat screen here that I can play my PlayStation 2 from the bed. There's the PlayStation 2 and the little gravity-fed sink that I've made a video building that. It's butt ugly, but it works great. And the memory wall. The memory wall is still here. I never took it down. Like, that's the way the advertising design looked for Athfest of 2022. That was the year that I went and saw Zombie Donuts. I was still making vlogs then. I'm trying to be more health conscious now, not do stuff like that. I did Turkey Run this year. And then we got Lake County Fair and the Porter County Fair. Yeah, some of my favorite fairs in Indiana. And then the Watermelon Festival in Alabama, appropriately right next to the Rattlesnake Saloon. And then the Friendship Flea. Didn't know it when I pinned this up, but that was the last year I did Friendship Flea. I miss it. But I've replaced it with the Bluegrass Fair in Lexington, Kentucky, which is paying more. But boy, that Friendship Flea had such a community about it. And the live music, the bands that they brought in just for the vendors late at night, that was great. Oh, look at that. There's the Carrollton Fair. I only did that one time. And it's appropriately ripped up by Dashel as he was climbing this wall to get up into his hammock. But that was where I found Dashel, in Carrollton, when I worked at the Carrollton Fair. Wasn't able to do this year because I didn't get my application in on time. Instead, I had to do Blessing the Fleet in Darien. But I'm hoping I'll be able to do this one again next year. Because I really like it. Puts me close to Andersonville, Georgia, which I would always do right after that, and go see Providence Canyon and stuff like that. Appalachian Fair. That's one of my hometown fairs. Swamp Cabbage Festival. This was the last year I did the Swamp Cabbage Festival in LaBelle, Florida. I've replaced it now with the Strawberry Festival in Live Oak, Florida. Oh, and it was also the last year I did Gaslight Festival in J-Town, Kentucky. I've replaced that one now with the Tennessee Valley Fair in Knoxville. I miss J-Town. J-Town has a very unique flavor to it. Moonfall. In 2022, I was still seeing movies. In 2023, I took an entire year off of movies because I was just upset at the movie industry and theaters in general. So I took a complete year off of it, but yeah, Moonfall was terrible. It was total destruction porn. Highlands County Fair, appropriately right next to Highlands Hammock State Park. I like to go there for a day and celebrate the end of this fair. And that was one of the last years I did the Northeast State Community College Student Appreciation Day. They just didn't have it this year. Here's a couple of stuff I got from the gift shop at the art gallery in Fort Wayne doing the Three Rivers Festival, which I'm also not doing anymore, disappointingly, because I really like Fort Wayne. Oh, and look at that. There's the boarding pass for the big party fishing boat, the Mayport Princess. I did out of Jacksonville, Florida. That was a really fun day. Caught a lot of red snappers. Unfortunately, there was a moratorium against keeping them, so I had to throw them all back. I caught a few pink snappers and maybe a sea bass, but still had fun. It was a great day. Oh, look, there's my movie pass when I went to see Sonic. Why do I have a waffle potato chip bag? That's weird. It's nice to be back home, back in the new camper with the Xbox One. I think they missed me a little bit. Little sister and two nephews, her oldest and youngest, are passing through Tennessee on their way to a youth camp. So we're having lunch with them. Malachi here just had his appendix taken out, had an emergency surgery. This is actually not a joke. He really did have his appendix taken out. What, last week? Last week. Can we see the stitches? Okay, we can't see the stitches.
I really didn't leave much.
The stitches are inside you?
They did glue on the outside.
They glued the outside, put the stitches on the inside. That's so much different than when I was your age. And I had stitches, what, 5 times? All right, so on a scale from 1 to 10, how bad was the pain?
3.
I don't believe him. I don't believe him.
It was a 3.
I don't believe him. He's trying to be a tough guy for clout.
It was very serious.
He's virtue signaling.
I'm very serious. It was a 3.
He thinks it was. All right. Tough guy here. So that's going to be it for this one, guys. Don't forget to give me the thumbs up, subscribe, share, all that. She actually watches these videos a little bit. Do you have any last word to recommend to people watching the video?
Yeah, just keep watching.
Other than don't do a shot like this with natural light coming in behind the person that's on the video. Makes everybody look silhouetted. Hold on, I think I have a thumbprint over the camera too. Okay, now that actually looks better. Look at that. Don't leave a thumbprint on top of the camera. That helps as well.
Just a thumbs up.
Yeah. All right, don't forget to read your Bible. Do your own seeking and develop a relationship with God, all your own. And that's going to be it for this one. See you on the next one.